Hey everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right, so for this video I'm going to be unboxing and reviewing the 4K picture for Black Christmas. I can't believe that I actually am reviewing a 4K transfer for Black Christmas. Who knew that day would ever come? And great to finally have it in my hands and share my thoughts with you about the 4K picture on it. Now, in case anyone's not aware of this movie, it's a fantastic 70s slasher movie. It's one of those movies that almost lives in the shadow of Halloween. Everyone talks about Halloween was being the first movie to bring the whole kind of slasher genre back, but let's face it, this movie came out years before Halloween, and yeah, it doesn't get the recognition that it should do. It has a great casting as well. There you got Olivia Hussey, you've got Margaret Kidder, and you've also got John Saxton, and it is directed by probably one of the most underrated directors of all time with Bob Clark. Now the reason why I say that is because he actually directed one of my favourite comedies of all time, which is Porky's. And he actually directed one of my favourite Christmas movies as well, which was A Christmas Story. And then of course he done this little gem of a horror movie. Now I have to tell you, is when you do watch this movie, there is some comedic moments in it. And when you do see them, especially if you are aware of Porky's, it takes you right back to Porky's. There is a lot of humour that does resemble Porky's. And I have to tell you, it was a welcome addition to this movie. Now, I was actually just doing a lot of reading about this in the making of, and some of the things that I read up about it I thought was quite brilliant. But it's amazing what they were able to get away with back then, especially when you'd see the way movies are made today. But there's a woman in this movie. I think she's actually on the cover, so I'm not going to be spoiling anything for anyone here. But she's the first person to get killed in this movie. She gets suffocated with a plastic bag put over her head. And they never told her that her death was coming up in the movie. She was told just to act out a scene. She didn't actually realise that someone was going to jump out at her. So when you actually see her death in the movie, it's actually a real reaction. And I have to tell you, it actually works. It looks fantastic. Now, not only that, but when she does die in the movie, she still does heavily feature in the movie. You see her a lot sitting on a walking chair with that plastic bag over her head. And the reason to why she was okay with having the bag put over her is because she was a very good swimmer. So she was able to hold her breath for a considerable amount of time. But you can only imagine that if a director tried to do something similar like that today, chances are he would probably lose his job. So it's a very, very different time in terms of directing. Now, there is a lot of POV shots in this movie. And they're brilliantly done, but when I actually read up how they were done, I just couldn't help but laugh about it. But apparently the DP simply just slapped a camera to his back, and he was just told to kind of sneak around the house, and that's how it was done. And it actually looks quite brilliant in this movie. And I presume Bob Clark used the same technique as well in A Christmas Story, because it is done very, very similar when it comes to them POV shots. But like I said, yeah, I was reading up about them behind the scenes, and you just can't help but laugh. It's sometimes simplistic is the way to go, and it actually worked very, very well with this movie. Now, not only that, but the way that the killer was handled in this movie was very unique as well. Now, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it's a very, very different take when it comes to a slasher movie, particularly with the killer. And anyone that's seen the movie, I think you'll know what I mean. It was a fun time revisiting this movie, folks. It is a wonderful, wonderful slasher movie. And if you have not seen it, please do check it out. I think you'll be massively, massively impressed by what you see. So this release is actually a German release. It is a German media book. You can get 3 variants of this. This is variant A. And I went for this one because I just thought it looked like the better artwork. I think the variant C is the original cover art for Black Christmas. Now, I can't remember what B was. But yeah, I just opted for this one because I thought it looked the best. And there is a couple of features in there as well. You got a couple of making-of featurettes, and I think there's a few interviews as well. It's not jam-packed, but there is quite a bit there, and I think you'll be very, very happy with what you see in terms of special features. Now, as for the 4K transfer on this one, now the first thing you're going to notice here, folks, and do not get fooled by this, the picture on the Blu-ray is considerably brighter. This is a hell of a lot darker, but trust me when I say this, it lends incredibly well to this movie. You want this picture to be darker. It just adds a certain element to that mood of this movie. It looks fantastic. So anyone that's seen a brighter image, because a lot of people do get fooled by brighter images, when they see it, they instantly think it looks better. trust me, it is not the case with this movie. Now, what they've done with this transfer is they've fixed three things. Three things that I found was very important, particularly over the previous Blu-ray release, which I had, which was the 101 Films edition. Now, anyone that has seen that or owns that version of it, this movie is grainy. It is incredibly grainy. Now, unfortunately, on that Blu-ray, it was incredibly noisy. Now, I have to admit now, when I seen this picture, as soon as I seen that noise was removed, nearly every aspect of it was removed, I was absolutely ecstatic. That alone was worth picking up this release, because the Blu-ray was amazingly noisy. So all the noise is gone, bar one scene, maybe in the last 5 minutes of the movie, where they go into the basement of the house. You'll see a lot of that noise and a lot of the dark blacks, and it can be a little bit distracting at times, but like I said, it's only around the last 5 minutes of the movie. The rest of the picture is absolutely noise free. Now, another thing they massively improved on with this release is the black levels. It is almost a night and day difference over that previous Blu-ray. Now, by no means the best I have ever seen, but it does look, like I said, when you compare it to the Blu-ray, it is a considerable difference, and the shadow detail that you're going to see on this is absolutely jaw-dropping. It really, really is. So that's the three things they addressed, and I was happy they did, because it makes a significant difference over the Blu-ray. But folks, you have to understand this. This movie is ugly. It's an ugly, ugly movie. It is something similar to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and if you did clean it up, I said this in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video, if you do clean this up, you're taking something massively away from the movie. You'll be taking that mood away from the movie, and it would have been tragic to see it look pristine. So you have to understand, when you're going into buying this on 4K, just know that you're getting something very, very similar to the Texas Chainsaw. Now, not as bad as Texas Chainsaw in terms of how ugly it looks, but it is an ugly looking movie. You do get also a 5.1 DTS audio on this as well. The movie is massively dialogue driven as well. It is front heavy. There is only maybe a handful of scenes where you hear kind of any activity coming from behind you, so don't be expecting anything in terms of activity from behind. It's just simply not there. But the dialogue sounded quite clean. I had no issues at all with it. It was it sounds exactly what it needs to sound like. So there you go, folks. That is my video on this Black Christmas release, and all that's left to do is to take you around this Mediabook and show you exactly what it looks like, and that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Right, so here we go, Black Christmas. So there is quite a bit going on with the artwork on this. As you can see, that's the girl that I spoke about at the start of this video, her with the plastic bag over her head, sitting in the rocking chair. You've also got Olivia Hussey there in the bottom left corner. I think that's Margaret Kidder as well. And of course you got the killer there as well, holding that kind of unicorn statue that you do see in this movie. Of course, you got a wreath there in the middle with Black Christmas. So there is quite a bit going on with this release, and I think you can understand why I picked this one up, this cover art up, particularly when you do see the other two. So right onto the spine we go. So you simply got Black Christmas there, and then right around to the back. And the first thing I'm going to do quickly is just to take you in close and give you a close look at some of maybe the technical aspects. That also gives you an idea of some of the special features there as well. And as you can see, the Blu-ray on this is region free, so I know a lot of people are going to be happy to see that. So there we go, that is the artwork for the Mediabook. So I will open it up, and this is a 3-disc set. So you've got your Blu-ray, you've got your DVD with it as well, and then right around to the back, and that is your 4K disc. And as you notice as well, all different artwork on each disc. But unfortunately, like I'm always saying in all my videos, this Mediabook is German, so all the writing will be in German. So there we go, folks. Just a quick look at the Mediabook itself. And I still think I picked up the right one in terms of cover art. And yeah, great to finally have it. Right, folks, so there you have it. That is Black Christmas. And I have to tell you, I am ecstatic that I finally picked this movie up. I had a great time revisiting it. It is a beautiful looking Mediabook. It is by far the best the picture has ever looked, even though it is a very ugly looking movie. And the DTS 5.1 is perfect. It sounds exactly how Black Christmas should sound. And if you are a fan of this movie, I think you're going to be ecstatic by everything that you get with this release. So there you have it, folks. So as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you could do, leave a comment down below, and please do share your thoughts on this movie. I'm very curious to hear what yous are going to say out there. And yeah, I hope to see yous all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.